Good day, everyone. It's Marty Tazelaar here with Avid Action Coach, and I've got Brad McGuire from the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses joining me today to talk a little bit about Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses, C.F.I.B, and their activities. Brad, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Marty. Thanks very much. Yes, my name is Brad McGuire. I'm the district manager here in the Kamloops region here in BC with the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. You may know us better as C.F.I.B. So C.F.I.B has been an organization that strictly represents independent, small and medium-sized independent businesses in Canada. And we have been doing that since 1971. So we're in our 51st year this year.
Wow, that's quite a long time. And so what is the, main activities of C.F.I.B?
So C.F.I.B, essentially, we set small businesses, medium-sized businesses up for success. We provide them with amazing resources. We provide them with exclusive savings that we negotiate with our selected providers on vital business services. And number one, the reason we exist and we have for so many years is because of our advocacy and our lobbying. We meet with government at all levels to ensure that you have the support you need, and any policies that need updating or changed, that's what we do. We take your views as a business owner to the government, and that's how we get things done and how we have been for many years.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic. So in terms of that, who would you say is makes up an ideal member? Like what makes them your best member?
Well, first of all, our memberships would be any independent business. So the only ones we would not represent would be typically not-for-profits, because we are a not-for-profit organization ourselves. We're 100% funded by our members, and we're 100% directed by our members. But the majority of our membership, we would have members anywhere from 0 employees up to roughly 250 employees. The meat of our membership would be in the 10 to 25, 30 employee category. However, we have many that are 10 employees or less. We find the smaller business, the less time they have, the less resources they have, and as of lately, the less staff they have, because the labor shortage has been such an issue. That's one of the things we're working with the government to improve as well on behalf of our members. So an ideal member would be one that uses our services. Certainly our business resource service is unlimited. We have expert business advisors that all of our members can reach out to when they're dealing with challenging situations, or they have questions about something they just found out they need to comply with and they don't know how to do that. We would be the HR support that they call.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Actually, having that support when you're a small business, not a lot of people know where to turn or to get some guidance or some help. So that's awesome that the C.F.I.B is providing those services. Okay, so we're kind of coming out of the pandemic now, and were there any changes that you had to make as a result of the pandemic that made that you had to do as a necessity?
Absolutely. Prior to the pandemic, basically our model would be to visit businesses in every community in every corner of Canada, and typically we do that in person. The pandemic has clearly changed how people do business. Certainly in the early days and the first year really of the pandemic, we had to completely forecast the future, and our model had to change. So from a digital standpoint, we advanced our digital plan, which was about a 5-year plan. That was advanced into about a 2-month plan back in the early days of COVID, because we realized we need to reach out to our members and our prospective members in a different way. So we've been reaching out to them, making phone calls. We look at business directories, business licenses in each community. We're trying to find the businesses out there that need the help, and we're trying to reach out in every possible way. But as an example, we used to present what we have to offer to prospects through paper and binders that we would show up with. A lot of documents, a lot of resources that way. That's completely changed. We do everything through our iPad. We're all connected to our head offices. It's really quite amazing. With change in technology, there's certainly challenges, but we're moving forward with those.
Yeah, that's for sure. Technology, I'm not the most technology literate, so yeah, if I need something done, I usually ask someone else that has anything to do with technology there. But so you kind of answered it quite the next question too. Of all the actions you've taken because of the pandemic, what are some that are going to remain a part of doing business with C.F.I.B?
Well, I think that's exactly right. I did speak to that. We're not going back to an older model. And I think that's really important for everyone in business to understand, is that what might have worked in the past, not saying that it won't work in the future, but if you've had to change out of necessity, it might be the pandemic. It may be that the pandemic advanced plans that you already had as a business owner. So we won't be going backwards. We'll only be going forwards. We're trying to streamline and implement policies that are actually going to help our members where they can reach out to us in a much easier way in every method, whether that be email, whether that be a phone call. That is what we're looking forward to in the future, is adapting to the model that best serves our members.
Well, yeah, that's the way it should be, right? That's a really good strategy too. Is, meet people where they're meeting. Okay, so since you, what's your biggest learning since you've been with C.F.I.B?
Yes.
Yeah. So what has been your biggest learning?
Well, the biggest learning for me, I've been with C.F.I.B. I'm coming up on 4 years this month, actually.
Congratulations.
The biggest learning for me has been how many different scenarios there are out there with every different type of business in every different sector. I thought I had a pretty good idea of how business ran, especially private enterprise business, before I started with C.F.I.B, and I realized I knew very, very little. I learn every day from every member that I meet with, whether that's a renewal of an existing member or I'm meeting with a prospect, I'm learning about their business. So it is very much learning every day. I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of this organization because we do that. We, as I mentioned, we are driven by what our members want and what our members need. And that makes my job worthwhile every day. I'm passionate about what I do because they're passionate about their businesses. And when they communicate the information about their business that's very detailed, they're putting a lot of faith and trust in C.F.I.B. We take that very seriously. We want to help and support business.
Yeah, and that's good too. I mean, it's personally fulfilling too that you're able to help business owners and help and improve their businesses and stuff. So yeah, that's similar to the coaching industry. Is when we see somebody just all of a sudden their business starts flourishing or they're doing something they've always wanted to do. It's definitely personally satisfying for sure. So I understand you there. So do you have any favorite quotes or sayings that you like to use?
Oh, there's many. One of them, and I don't know if I'm going to quite get it exactly right. It's a quote by Socrates. And he says, in the face of change, it's important to focus not on the change itself and the past, but to build on the change of the future. I know I haven't got that exactly right, but it's to build on the future, looking ahead rather than looking back. And I like that quote because I don't think it's ever been more relevant in our lifetimes than it is right now after we've come out of this pandemic with
Yeah,
a lot of change.
absolutely. That's so true. Is, I mean, we can look over our shoulder and learn from it, but if we don't learn from it, well, then we're destined to repeat it, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so are there any special offers from C.F.I.B that you'd like to include in this conversation today, that they're reaching out for any new members or current members? Is there anything any special offer you'd like to offer today?
Well, actually, there are. When I spoke about our partners, we currently have 11 partners of Vital Business Services, and every month, one of our partners will offer something even more special than what they already do for being a C.F.I.B member. And this month, currently, there is an offer through our partner, Northbridge Insurance, and it's an offer to win up to $3,000 for a business. So there'd be more information on that. And from a C.F.I.B perspective, what I'd like to share is that every time I meet with a prospective business who may be interested in C.F.I.B, I'm always open to working with them to find a fee that works for them. We do have a fee guide that doesn't always work for every business because it's based on the number of employees, but we want to work with every business, and we're more than willing to open up and hear what works for that business, because the more members we have, it's all about strength and influence. We currently have close to 100,000 members, between 95 and 100,000 members across Canada.
That's
and
fantastic.
that breaks down to about 10,000 here in BC, and roughly 500 members here in Kamloops. So the more we have, the more voices we have from business, the more work we get done through change of policy with government.
That's phenomenal. That's the strength in numbers for sure. Okay, so the last question is actually one of my favorite questions. Is what is most inspiring to you today?
What's most inspiring to me today is the numbers of independent private enterprise businesses that are opening today, that have opened throughout the pandemic. They're putting a lot of trust and faith in the future, and I'm inspired by those business owners that have taken that leap, and they're starting their businesses in a very challenging time.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is so true. Actually, I was chatting with a lady the other day, and started her business right smack dab at the start of the pandemic. And she adapted very quickly, though, went to an online model of her business and hasn't looked back. And actually, her business flourished from the beginning. So that's, I guess adapting to your environment is key. So I thank you for taking the time to interview today, Brad, and just give us a little bit of information on the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses. I think it's an awesome and wonderful service that you provide, and support that you provide to the business community is second to none. So thank you for that.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much for the opportunity to interview with you, Marty.
Okay, thanks, Brad.